Welcome to all you astrology lovers out there. Here is the video for the full moon in Capricorn that is going to occur approximately around the 13th of July of 2022. So it's a short video. I'm going to have a look in general what this full moon is all about, what the strengths are and the pitfalls. And then I'm going to, for each sign, have a look at what this means. Now, so first the details. The 13th of July, the Sun, together with Mercury, is going to be around at about 21 degrees of Cancer. And Mercury will be at 17 degrees, so around 21 degrees of Cancer, opposing the Moon on 21 degrees of Capricorn, with Pluto at 27 degrees of Capricorn. So what is this full moon in general all about? Now, first of all, full moons are culminations. They show us things. It's like what we've been working for 14 days ago when the new moon started. What is going on? You see it during the full moon. And for some people, it's stronger than for others, depending on your chart, of course. If you've got planets very close to those degrees in those signs, of course, you're going to feel it stronger. Also, the Librans and the Aries people are going to feel this very, very strong, and particularly if you have planets around 20 degrees up until like 29 degrees of Aries and Libra. Now, what is this all about? So, okay, something comes into consciousness. Something becomes very obvious. Cancer and Capricorn are all about the parental figures. It's an opposition, so it means that there's tension. And it also means that the tension is there, not to annoy us, but to make us aware that we have to balance these things. It's a bit of a paradox, you could say. One cannot live with the other, so to speak. Now, Cancer is, of course, every sign has positives and negatives. At its best, Cancerians are very protective, very caring, very nurturing. The downside is overdoing so, which means like going towards emotional manipulation. The other side, Capricorn, is like, so that was the mother figure, the father figure, which is saying, you're strong enough, you can do it. It's the wise father who gives advice and that says, go into the wide world and take responsibility. So it's not so much about feelings and feeling nurtured. It's all about take your responsibility, go for it. And it's very cool, you could say. The good side is taking responsibility, maturity. The downside is control. So that is, in a nutshell, the items that are going to come up for all of us, including also what I was talking about, the parental access. So for a lot of people, this will be issues that come up around parents, or themes that come up around parents or parenting. But bottom line is to find a healthy balance between being nurtured and between, exploring the world and taking responsibility for that. So it's that balance. So that in itself is a big theme. Another theme here is definitely the Plutonian-Neptunian theme. Why? Because this full moon is conjunct Pluto. That's not one of my favorite positions. And also Venus squares up to Neptune. Also not my favorite position. But there is help as well. So that is a bit the challenges. There is help with Venus trining Saturn. And that is very cool and lovely and stable. So you could say the Plutonian-Neptunian energy is going to cause some drama. For some of us, big dramas. For some of us, very little and small that you almost don't even see, depending on your chart, of course. And it will be based, the emotional imbalance, the emotional turmoil, which is all about Moon Pluto. And Moon is in Capricorn. It doesn't like, the Moon, which is all about Cancerian energy. It is in a sign that is, hey, keep it cool, don't show your emotions, Capricorn. So it is in a place together with Pluto on it. You can expect if someone has this in a natal chart, it's like they keep it cool, but underneath the surface, there's a lot going on, right? It's like the tip of the iceberg that you see. It's a bit like a moon in Scorpio. So you could say, oh, they keep it cool, but underneath, there's a lot going on. And there's a lot of hidden stuff going on. So first of all, the challenges are that, yes, there's going to be some emotional turmoil caused by, because at the same time, you have to see the whole picture, of course, at the same time, Venus squares Neptune. So a lot has to do with disillusions. So people, disillusions in love for some of us, maybe for others it will be on other areas, but we'll take a look at that in when I'll get to all the signs. But it certainly is about disillusions. And when are we disillusioned? When we expect too much from others, from ourselves. So, because I think that will be the trigger, this Venus squaring Neptune, which is all like, you know, la la land. So be aware to keep the feet on the ground, because someone can over idealize someone and then the truth comes out, and or the other way around. But at the same time, this Venus trine Saturn, which is the opposite, which is stability in relationships, which is structure in relationship, which is having the feet on the ground, knowing the good, the bad, and the ugly of a person. That is Venus Saturn. And that is real, true love, you could say. I mean, Venus square Neptune, that is not true love. That is idealization, or that is expecting too much. And that is because you're not fulfilled yourself, that you project that on other people. But Venus trine Saturn is fantastic, and definitely in air signs. Remember, Venus is in Gemini. Well, remember, for those of you who know a bit about astrology, Venus is in Gemini, so it's very flirty, it's very airy, you know, it doesn't want to go too deep into stuff and too deep philosophical conversations, but very light-hearted, very joyful relationships. And there is stability there as well. So all in all, if you take that bigger picture, you could say, yes, there is emotional turmoil caused by some disillusions, but at the same time, we have our feet on the ground. So is it the worst full moon? No, not at all. But is it the best one? Not at all either. So again, let's delve a little bit deeper into what this is all about for the signs. Let's start with Aries. You know, Aries is a cardinal sign, and this full moon is in cardinal sign. So for you, it's super, super important full moon. And for Aries, and especially when you've got like planets around 20, 21 degrees, ooh, you will feel it very, very strongly. And but most of the Aries people will feel that. So the emotional turmoil, where is it? That is where Moon and Pluto is. And that is for you in the highest point of the horoscope, which is your work, your career. If you're not working, it's your social status. It's how you want to be seen for society. So there's something about it that is emotional. And that it can be a little bit of crisis prone, that something happens there that is out of your control, basically, and that is hidden. I forgot to say in the intro that a lot of hidden stuff can come out with this Moon Pluto. So expect, dear Aries people, that all of this that happens at the, you could say, some emotions that rise up at the workplace, that comes up, it needs to be transformed. It needs to be brought into light. If you don't like those feelings, if you don't like, and especially, you know, with Pluto as well, it could be some power struggles going on there. But the things that you cannot control, really let them go. Focus on yourself, focus on what you can do, and know your fears. Know that you're confident enough, whatever it is that is happening out of your control, whether you lose a job or you get a job and you're afraid of that. I mean, it's a millions of possibilities, but whatever it is, concentrate on that you have that stability. You have that emotional support, that nurturing energy with the Sun and Mercury in your 4th house. That is all about how you feel about things and how you can anchor yourself. That is something that you do and no one else. Now, the thing that is that might be a little bit tricky for you, what I was saying about the Venus square Neptune, has to do with communication. So it is mostly mind your communication. So be aware that the communication, unconsciously, you can give out vibes that are like, Normally that's not typical for an Aries. Aries is normally very straightforward. But now, you could be misunderstanding other people. Other people could misunderstand you. And of course, that doesn't have to be intentionally, but be aware of that. At the same time, Venus is trining your 11th house. So the support comes and the stability, because of the turmoil that happens in your life, between your communications, between your work, between your social status. If it's all too much, call a friend. Call a good old friend, or not an old friend, but they can help you. Your support system is now giving you stability. Make use of it. You can have some really good and strong conversations. Taurians. But all in all, Aries people, it's all about transforming that, how you want to be seen by the public and how you want to profile yourself in the world. That is something has to go there, something has to transform. Taurians, for you, it's not that bad at all, this full moon. Why? Because Capricorn is an earth sign, you are an earth sign, and that goes very well with each other. So for you, there can be a little bit of emotional crisis and turmoil in your 9th house. The 9th house, what is the 9th house? It's where we learn, it's the way that we think, it's also travel, it's also publications, and you could say where we find the connection with all. It's also the divine, you could say, or our relationship with the divine. So there could be, in one of those areas that I just said, there could be some turmoil going on, but it's out of your control. Let it go. Don't try to control it all. Some circumstances can occur there. And it also has to do with Venus square Neptune. Now, Venus is in your 2nd house of your money and of your belongings and of your confidence, and it squares up with the 11th house. And the 11th house is the house of goals, also the house of groups of people, friends, and so on. So there could be something going on that is like not realistic when it comes to your goal setting. Maybe you have goals for the future and they're kind of not realistic with the resources that you have. It can be as simple as that. Or maybe a friend asks you for money, right? And it's all like, you have to be very careful for that. And it kind of makes you emotional in a way that you say, like, why are people doing that? Who do they think that I am, right? And then you have to work a little bit better on your boundaries. But all in all, there's also a trine to the 10th house. So what can support you is work, actually. It's like by doing the work, by working. If you're not working, then it's about how you want to be seen, your social status, to work on that, to improve it, to stabilize it even. That can help you in this situation. But all in all, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but there could be some fears that you have. Pluto with the moon in the 9th house. So fear of studies, fear of maybe you are studying something and there's an exam coming up and you're all a little bit worried about it. Well, then work, right? Work for the career in the future, things like that. But be realistic. And it could also mean that you're a bit worried for a travel that you're gonna do, right? With the moon Pluto, but let it go. It's out of your control. You cannot control every single person. So just mind yourself and you will be fine. Geminis, this is also for you not the biggest full moon. It's happening in your 8th house. So for you, it's a little bit hidden. And what I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just an emotional turmoil or a little bit of emotions coming up for you that other people will not notice. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe not so good. But this is all about the axis of value of other people. So how other people value you. There could be a bit of a crisis going on there, that people might not value you as you value yourself, for instance. And you want to change that. But the thing is with Pluto, if you want to take control, it gets even worse. So don't try to control other people's, what they think of you, how they value you. It's their thing. The only thing to concentrate on is you. And with the Sun and Mercury in your second house, of your own values and of your own work that you do and your own income, that is where you can focus on to balance this energy out. So this is a little bit of an emotional warning to not be codependent and to, codependent that you of course, we are all dependent of each other, but in a healthy way. I give 50%, you give 50%, and we have some sort of an equality going on. So this is if something comes up here, and with the Venus in a square to Neptune, Venus is in your sign though, so I wouldn't worry too much. But it squares to Neptune in your 10th house, so it could have to do with your work, or that people don't see you in the way, they expect too much from you, for instance, or there's some miscommunication. And then it's actually, instead of thinking, oh, they are not valuing me, you could say, look, that's their thing, I do my best. It's very important for you to what is important for you. What a sentence. That is with the Sun and Mercury in your second house. Now the trine is from Venus to Saturn is in your 9th house. So what can help you is the bigger picture, is going to maybe reading, maybe seeing an astrologer, a video, maybe reading a good book, watching a beautiful movie that, triggers you into a little bit of philosophy and understanding what this is all about. So that can help you. And also travel can help you, also writing and seeing a little bit of the bigger picture, trying to find that connection with the divine. Cancerians, for you, you are another cardinal sign, super important full moon. Easy? Not at all. Do you have the tools and the wherewithal to deal with it? Absolutely. So why it's not so easy? Because it's key areas of your life. So you have the Sun and Mercury in your sign. So it's going to be very important for you to talk to stand up for yourself, to speak your truth. And because otherwise, you're going to the negative side of Cancer, which is like it's going to burst and emotional outbursts. And it's opposing this Moon Pluto in your 7th house, which is your key relationship. So if you're married or if you have a relationship, it's that other person that is causing, so to speak, because it's a mirror, it's a reflection, causing a little bit of, or a little bit a lot, of turmoil in your life. If you're single, it's that feeling of other people that are important in your life and how you relate to them. So there's going to be someone at its best that is also speaking their truth, and some, you could say, because you say truth, Mercury is opposing Pluto, and it's going to be the harsh truth, right? Mercury opposing Pluto, it's typical conversations that are not easy to do, but that are necessary. So do them. Don't shy away from those difficult conversations, because, and then you go into the negative side of manipulation. You don't want that. You want to bring it on the table, what needs to be brought on the table, and that other person, how they react, you really cannot control it. Are they going to like it? Probably not. With Moon Pluto there, Probably not, but it's necessary to go through this so that after this energy, because this is an energy for next week, but 2 weeks after that, Venus comes into your sign. So that shows that you are going to be way more light, way more, like a lot of weight is from your shoulders, because you know, this little crisis or big crisis is going on there. You have spoken your truth, and now you can proceed with your life. So this Moon Pluto person who is very strong, this person has power over you, of course. It's always in relationships that people have power over us. But it's now a good time to restore the power. That is a 50-50. So that the one is not playing power struggles. And of course this comes up through this person, but this has to do with the past. So there could be things that were hidden or that were difficult to deal with. Now they come up. And so when that happens for you around that 13th, don't think this is a bad thing. Meanwhile, in the process, emotions come and go. So this will go away as well. And but after that, you know, it will be way more clean and way more healthy, and you can start all over again on a fresh scale. So Venus squares Neptune in the 12th and the 9th house. So there could be some disillusions around what you expect, you know, from each other. And that's why to see it on a higher level, but not idealizing things too much. Also, travel could travel, reading, watching movies, you could say going for an event of some sorts, or people that are foreigners that are involved could trigger this and show to you some disillusions. But it's actually better to be thankful for that so that you can restore that and transform that, because this Venus trines Saturn in your 8th house. So there's deep psychological transformation going on. And it's like a bit of a death and a rebirth that you're going through. So serious stuff, definitely for those of you who are in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, you could have to, and single, you could deal with someone that that is trying to control you, or you are trying to control them. You are trying to be seen and whatnot. The only advice I can give then is authenticity. Be real. Be real. Even if you risk that the relationship will not flourish, right? Because rejection is often God's protection. So know that for those of you who are single. Leos, this is not that difficult for you, or not that you could say life-changing as like for the Cancerians, but this is happening in your 6th house. And this is the Moon Pluto energy. So there could be some drama, some things that come up at the workplace, for instance. Or if it's not the workplace, it could be health, but it's something that you already know, you know, from the new moon to the full moon. It's something that was already coming to fruition, so coming real. And although it is quite heavy energy, it could be really interesting for you to know the balance between work and between relaxing. So it's about restoring that. It's about making sure that you have that balance. And so a transformation is possible, definitely. And make sure that you're not having too many illusions around the 11th house and the 8th house, which is all about the value of other people, the value of friends. So you might have had like the wrong expectation from friends, whether they were good or bad. You know, it could be just the other way around. And but there is a trine to Saturn in your 7th house, so that you have a support of a significant other person. It might be your loved one when you are in a relationship, or some sort of mentor, a teacher, an astrologer, a doctor, whatever. There is definitely support for you to keep your feet on the ground. But make sure that you transform your routines, that you make them better, that you transform your health by looking at the deeper courses and not just on the surface. Virgos, you are a fellow earth sign. So for most of you Virgos, you could say the moon in Capricorn is quite enjoyable for you. Although it is a bit the same like with Taurus people. So you Virgos, it's definitely something that will come up as well. And that is a bit of turmoil. But you go with the flow easier. And because of this earthly energy, this is happening in your 5th house. So the 5th house is the house of children, the house of romance. It's the house of your own projects, of the heart chakra. So there could be coming up something that is out of your control. There could be a kid that is just freaking out, for instance. And for a Virgo, it's not always easy to let go of that. But the thing is that there's not that much in your control. Do what you can do and then see what happens. But the thing is also, certainly when it is about love, that you want to have, you don't want to give your power away in love. And that is a very significant thing with Moon Pluto. Don't give your power away to someone because you kind of, the reason why you're doing that is because you fear the rejection. So then it's not real at all. And don't overpower someone else either. Don't try to control them either in love. And like you want to be seen and just delve a little bit deeper. And you will be able to do that, by your work. So because Venus, although it squares Neptune on the relationship level and on a work level, the trine to Saturn is your work and your day-to-day routine. So how to deal with this all is best to keep on working, doing your routines. It's going to help you. It's a really Virgo thing. When Virgos are stressed out, making, cleaning, for instance, or making order in the chaos, it gives them in their head also order. So that is something that will keep you with the feet on the ground. But it could be also especially with this Moon Pluto, when you are in a new romance or on a love level, and with this Venus square Neptune, it could have been that you wanted something so badly and you didn't see what was in front of you with Neptune there in your opposite sign. Be gentle for yourself if that happens, and investigate why you really want that fairy tale love, which is all about Neptune. So, but again, you will have your feet on the ground, so don't you worry too much, dear Virgos. Librans, for you it's a very, very important full moon because you are a cardinal sign, especially the Librans having planets around 21 degrees will feel it the most. This is a very important emotional full moon for you because this Moon Pluto is happening in your 4th house, which is the house of emotions. It's how you nurture yourself, how you parent yourself. It's also literally your home. So there could be some drama, some structural problem going on in the home as well. Whatever it is, this is to clean and to kind of purify and to restore the balance between work and home, between how you want to be seen and your place in the world, but also how you want to be nurtured. It's about restoring that balance. Now, the square that is going on between Venus and Neptune is in the 9th house and in the 6th house. So this is all about your view upon life, but also your work. So be very, you could say, realistic when it comes to expectations that you have from work, or if you're going a bit over the top in work as well. And it could be also that you struggle a little bit to have more routine in the work. So make sure that you, what can help you though, because you have a trine to Saturn in your 5th house, is like your hobbies that you have or the things that you do to enjoy yourself, to do it in a structured way. And why can it help you? So that you're not all over the place and that you still have a little bit of time for yourself and to enjoy yourself. But definitely also it could mean for some of you parents, that there is a parent that is going through a transformational process, and that has an effect on you as well. So that is also something that you cannot run away from and cannot control, or is not in your control. But remember, keep having fun, It's very important, but it's almost like controlled fun, right? It's like, yeah, on a Thursday evening, I do some karaoke with my friends, and on a Friday evening, I just go to a lovely restaurant, for instance, you know, and keep on doing it. Don't skip it, because there's so much on the plate. And so that can give you the feet on the ground. Scorpios, for you, not the worst full moon ever, because first of all, the Sun and Mercury trines your energy, and then the Capricorn moon sextiles your energy, and above all, Moon conjunct Pluto, that's your cup of tea. You know how it works. The Moon conjunct Pluto is like a moon in Scorpio. So you understand this energy. And this turmoil, or this could have to do with your communication. So Moon and Pluto in your third house is all about, there could be some secrets that are being revealed, or there could be some people like siblings, neighbors, they're going through some turmoil. And that has an effect on you as well. But it's all about the balance of seeing the bigger picture, and at the same time dealing with the details, but finding that balance. Now, Venus square Neptune, it's from the 8th house to the 5th house, so there could be some disillusionment around, you could say, around intimacy, around sex, around lovers, around children, around how you have fun, basically. So that could be a trigger as well, that you, because, you know, there are things that need to be spoken of, and that were hidden once, and now it comes to the table. Or maybe you had, with Venus there in your 8th house, there is something about on a love level that you want to keep secret, and that's not always a bad thing. You know, a lot of people think of, oh, secret liaisons, you know, because people love drama. It doesn't necessarily has to be that, but it could. And when that happens with the Moon Pluto, things are going to come out. You will speak about it, or other people will speak about it, and that can have like some effect on, you could say, things calm down, because now they are outspoken. And with the trine to your 4th house of Saturn, you could have more stability there on an emotional level. So I don't, because this sextiles your and trines your energy, I think it's going towards more the positive side for the Scorpios, and which is like, you know, you want to be very real when it comes to how you enjoy yourself. And if you do that, you can't really go wrong with this. Sagittarians, again, for you, not the biggest problem in the world for you, but it's happening in your value houses. So the Moon Pluto is in the 2nd house, so there could be something coming up around finances, but also around self-worth. These are the big twos of the 2nd house. It's these things, they are related to each other. So that could be like something because of the Venus square Neptune in your 7th house, in your 4th house. So because of relationships, or an important relationship, or in the home area, there were some things that you were not realistic of. You were idealizing a little bit too much. You didn't want to see what was in front of you. And now you have to deal with this Moon Pluto in your 2nd house. So that could be low self-worth, or you're not low, but it's shaken in some way. And it's internal. It's not that someone else is doing this, but it's because of how you feel you want to be. So don't be too hard on yourself, because Sagittarians, they have the philosophy of improving themselves every single day. So do so where you have to improve yourself, but this is a little bit out of your control with the Moon Pluto there. Not everything is in your control, and you definitely can learn from this and restore ego and power struggles between money and with the spouse, for instance, or a boyfriend, girlfriend. There could be like, I value going on a vacation, and the person values going not on a vacation. You know, it's a simple thing that I'm saying here, but things like that can come up, and it has to do with disillusions and what you expect of each other. And So it's not the main big things, life-changing events, but it can be a little bit annoying for building up your confidence again. On another level, it can mean that there is a breakthrough for you when it comes to confidence, and and you're taking your power back. So for those of you who've been working hard, especially the last couple of weeks, working hard on your confidence, working hard on putting healthy boundaries between you and others, this could be actually a very good thing. Capricorns, of course, yeah, this is all you. It's especially the Capricorns who've got planets around 21 degrees will feel it very, very strongly. But it's all happening. So you are causing the turmoil, you could say. There could be a little crisis going on within you that you're saying, this is how others need to see me. So it's a very powerful. So it depends on what you've been doing the last couple of weeks. Or months even, because if you've been bottling up, if you've been not expressing your emotions, this can come out, right? And the other person will, if you are in a relationship, or even if you're not in a relationship, a significant other person, or how you deal in relationships, it will come up, because there's an imbalance here between your needs and what other people are expressing, basically, with the Sun and Mercury there in your 7th house. So it's all about restoring this, and it's also some secrets that you've been hiding that you are going to reveal now, and the other person will react with the Sun and Mercury there. But it's necessary to bring that up, and it's going to give you confidence, and it's going to give you a healthy way of dealing with what are my healthy boundaries, because the Venus trines Saturn in your 2nd house, which is about your worth and also your money even. So Venus does square with Neptune in the 6th and the 3rd house. So there's a lot about communication that could go a little bit more, especially with Neptune in your 3rd house, communication. Not that you don't want to, that you want to mislead others, but they might interpret, or how do you say that? They might just not get you, or the other way around, and it's not necessarily done on a purpose, but make sure that you are grounded, that you take care of yourself, you know, have some nice food, good foods, nurturing foods, but you know, with Saturn in the 2nd house, I would suggest some potatoes or something like that. You know, it's like Saturn in the 2nd house, potatoes. But anyway, that is interesting for you. Then Aquarians, this is happening in a very secret house, in a very unconscious house. It's happening in your 12th house. So this is a bit of a karmic event for you even. Moon Pluto there, emotions that can come up that you don't even know where they're coming from. It's typical for a full moon in the 12th house, and definitely with Pluto there. So it could have been like old karma that you are purging here. And that needs to be balanced out through the work that you do, through your health, and good health conditions are super important. You know, taking care of your mental health and your physical health is super important here, because you're dealing with so much unconscious emotions and energy. So dreams could be very, very, you could even say that dreams could be a little bit of a nightmare every now and then. But it has to do, the Venus is in a square to Neptune from the 5th to the 2nd house. It has to do with your love chakra, and it has to do with your self-worth as well, with Neptune in your 2nd house. So what you expect from others, what you give and what you receive, the balance of that. If you just give because you want to receive, that is of course a little bit tricky. Then you will attract people who also gonna do that with you. So then you can't say they're not giving unconditionally. You're not sending that out either. So that is something that you can watch out for. Also some disillusions around love, a love story, or disillusions that you expected just too much. And forgive yourself for that, because there is a beautiful trine to Saturn in your 1st house from Venus. So that means that you can give yourself the stability, which is a major thing, which is why I believe that most Aquarians will deal with this full moon very well, because they are so stable. So whatever it is, the nightmare that you're having, it could be some, you know, releasing of some old karma that you're doing and some old history of years, many years ago. So that is definitely positive. And last but not least, for the Pisceans, this is happening in your 11th house. Again, for the Pisceans, not so bad, you know. Cancerian energy trines your energy. And Capricorn is sextiling your energy, so you will be fine, most of you. But there could be some turmoil going on with a friend or with a goal that you have for the future. It could be a goal that is crumbling down, but it's out of your control. Remember the moon Pluto. There could be a connection with a friend that is out of your control and that is in a transformative state. Let it happen.